yesterday's session, we discussed about what is XML. Then we compared XML with HTML, right? Difference between XML and HTML we discussed. Then we saw the structure of XML document. Every XML document is having one declaration line, then a root element, and in every document only one root element, and that root element can have child element. They further can have child element, they can have attributes, they can have text content. Okay, so all that structure we saw. Okay, then we saw some rules of creating an XML file. Okay, now today we have to see what is XML parsing. Okay, so XML parsing means understanding the structure of your XML program, right? That is through your host program. Host program can be any. It can be a Java program, it can be a PHP program, it can be a Python program. So through that program, you're trying to understand the structure. So XML parsing means understanding the structure of your XML document through the host program. The host program can be your Python program, PHP program. So obviously here it is a Python script. Okay. So XML parsing means reading information from your XML file and then identifying different parts of your XML file, like who is the root element, then the children of that root element, then what are the attributes of that element, or what is the text content of that element. So identifying all that individual structure, so understanding that complete structure of your XML file through some host program. So that process is called as parsing. Okay, then what is XML parser? You can say it's a library, or you can say it's a piece of software. It's a library, and that library you'll use in your host program. When I'm saying host program means it can be any language program which gives facility of dealing with XML file. So here it is obviously a Python file. Okay, so Python script. So Python script will use that library to do operation on your XML file. Getting? Like in case of database chapter, I hope you remember, if we wrote Python script, and through Python script we were doing operations in MySQL table, right? We were reading records from the table, we were adding record in the table. But for that there was one interface, one connector, one library was there, MySQL connector library, which was developed in Python, right? So that library we used in our Python script, and through that library we were doing operations in MySQL table. So exactly same here also. You have a XML file and then you want to write a Python script, and that Python script will do some operation on that XML file, read the content of XML file, or do any changes in it, okay, or create a new complete XML document. So for that some library is needed, interface is needed, and that is only your XML parser. So XML parser, you can say it's a piece of software or it's a library which you'll use in your host language for doing operations on XML file, like opening that XML file, writing any content into the XML file, or reading the elements from it, reading attributes of element, reading text content of the element, all that through that library. Okay, so piece of software to read and update, create and manipulate an XML document. Okay, so what you can call XML parser as, it's a piece of software. Okay, it is an interface, same as in case of MySQL. You remember we installed one MySQL connector that was also developed in Python. It was a Python library, and then that library we were using in our Python script to deal with MySQL. Same way, this is also a library, and using this library we will deal with this XML file. So through this library we can read the content of the XML file, we can make changes in the XML file, you can even create a complete new empty XML document through this parser. I'll give you one demonstration of that too. Okay, we can create through Python script using this library complete own new XML document also. Okay, so it's a piece of software, as I said, that is, it's a library which is used to read and update, create and manipulate your XML document. So this library will act as an interface between your Python script and the XML file. Okay, now there are many parsers are developed. There are many third-party parsers also. People like us only have created it, and then they have given it to the community. Getting? Means they have given it as an open source. So they have given it to the open source group. People use that too. So abundant parsers are available, but we are going to discuss in this chapter two parsers which is coming along with the Python installation only. Means during Python installation only they have provided. It's inbuilt. You don't have to do any installation for it. It comes along with your Python installation. So two parsers are there which I'll be discussing in this chapter. And again, as I said, that doesn't complete everything. Whenever later you'll read books or you do Google, so you may find many more other parsers also. Okay, so all I cannot cover. So I'm just going to discuss about two parsers. Okay, so in Python you can use you can parse XML document using two libraries. Okay, so first one is element tree and next is MinDOM, that is minimal document object model. So that two parsers we are going to discuss. See, so XML is one package, in that etree, that is element tree, is a sub package, and then we have a module called element tree, and in that again there is a class called elementary, and whole document is treated, entire XML document is treated as one object of class elementary. Getting? And then each and every element in that document is treated as an object of class element. Okay, so all that things we will discuss, don't worry. And the second one is this minimal DOM. Okay, that is called as document object model. This is derived from W3C DOM library only. Means this DOM library you can use to parse a JavaScript also. You can use this DOM to parse a HTML page also. Getting? Many might have used also, those who have already some knowledge of AngularJS or those who have knowledge of JavaScript. So they might have used in JavaScript also document object model to access each and every element of your HTML page. Exact same, this is a DOM model for parsing XML. We'll discuss that too. So these are the two parsers which we are going to discuss. Okay. So in that, the first one we will first we'll cover up with the first part, and then we'll take demonstrations on all that, and then we will start with the second one. Okay. There is no need of installing anything. It is coming along with your Python installation. This will be by default available. Whenever you'll install Python, along with Python, you get this XML parser also inbuilt. You just have to use it. Okay? Now in the first case, as I said, first library when you'll use, so any document which you'll create, okay? This is the root element, then this is child element. Maybe here there are attributes also. Okay, there can be attributes also. Again child element, again child element. It can go on. Okay, so here in the first case, it treats, sorry, again I wrote D. This whole document, complete document, is treated as one object. Okay? And it is an object of class elementary. The entire document is a object. It treats it one single object of elementary, and that object is again a iterable object, huh? Because it is a collection of element object. Then this each element, now A is one element, B is another element, this B is also another element. So every element is again an object of class element. Please understand everything, huh? ठीक है. तो every element, and what is the element? I hope yesterday I have told you, starting tag till ending means opening tag till close tag is treated as one element, and inside element again what can be there? Child element, attributes, text content. Okay, so one element is one object of class element. Okay, and the entire document is the object of element tree. And you can say element tree is also an iterable object because it's a collection of element objects. Many element objects are grouped in this. Okay, and how to get them, that also I'll tell you one by one. So only this much first part you understand. In case of element tree, the complete document is an object of element tree. Okay, and each and every element in your document is an object of class element. Okay, all that I'll show you with a demonstration. Okay, so the first parser we are going to concentrate on, that is element tree parser. It's in other languages they are called as tree based parser. Okay, there are tree based parser, and then there are event based parsers in other language like PHP or in Java and all. Here this first one is called as element tree. So Python built-in module element tree will read your entire XML document, and it will convert that whole document into one single object of class element tree. So whatever document you have created, whatever XML document, it will read that complete document, load it into the memory, and convert it into an object of class element tree. Getting clear? So what is element tree? That I hope you got it. So this module element tree reads your XML document and convert it into a tree structure. And every XML document, the natural structure is a tree structure. Na? Yesterday I told you, okay, every XML document will have one root element, then it will have many child element. Every child will further have child, they will have a text, they will have attribute. It follows a tree structure. So exact same is translated into that object. Okay, now how to read it, everything I'll tell you. Before that we have to import this module. After importing, load that XML file into memory. After it comes in memory, it's the object of this element tree. Then how to access each and every element in that document, all gradually we'll discuss. Okay? So the first point what I wanted to tell you is clear to you. Okay, in this parser, it takes your XML file, reads it, loads it in the memory, but once it comes in memory, it is entire document as one single object of type element tree. Your complete document is one object of type element tree. Now to use this module, okay, so this module has functions to read and manipulate your XML. Many are there, all we are going to discuss one by one. How to add a new child element, how to change the text content, how to read text content, how to read attributes, everything one by one we'll discuss, don't worry. First step is to use this library, we have to import it, isn't it? Right? In case of Excel handling also, in the previous chapter, we have that .xlsx file, that Excel workbook, okay, but to process it in your Python program, you have to first load it. But when it was getting loaded, it comes in memory as an object of class workbook. Exact same here. Your XML document from the disk is loaded in memory, and once it comes in memory, it's an object of class element tree. Okay, but for using this module, you have to first import it. So to use this built-in module, use following import statement. Okay, import, then the main library is XML. This is a package, then this is the sub package, and in that sub package, this is the module elementary. And now every time we have to write this whole big sequence. This is a dot separated path only. It's a path only because it's a folder, subfolder, then in that this is a module. So instead of, and in this module again there is a class with the same name, elementary. Okay, so again and again we have to write this. So we have given another alias name, that is alias. I've created an alias called et. So in the whole program only et dot I have to write. So it is the universally accepted name by all people. We will also use the same name. You want something else, X, you write that way. Okay. I'll just show you first import library. Give name to it as XML1. Okay. See, import XML dot etree, and from here also you can see it's a package because it gives a sign of a folder. So it's a package etree dot elementary, and this elementary is a module. Okay, and inside elementary there is a class with the name elementary only, getting as et. Right, you can print and see this et. See, does it show you the entire path? See, is it a .py file? Because every module is a py file and every package is a folder, and folder contains collection of files. So XML is a folder, this is a subfolder, then this is the module. Module means this is your py file, and this py file is present in this path. And whenever you import any module, and if you try to print it, it will show you the path of that module. Okay, now this module is imported. Now the next step is loading our XML file. Okay, but we haven't created any XML file. So first what we'll do, we'll create one sample XML file. Any XML file, whichever you want. We'll just create a normal file. Okay, and I'll give name to it as suppose note.xml. Okay, so note.xml less than the standard come, which encoding scheme you want, use it. Then I'm giving note. So note is the root element. Okay, now when I've written note, so note acts as a root element. Then 2 will act as a child element. Okay, then from is also going to act as another child element. Okay, then heading will act as one more child element. Okay, and this ram is going to act as a text content of this element. This is one element, 2 is one element, note is one element, from is another element, heading is another element. Getting? Then suppose body, and in that I've written don't forget me this weekend. Okay, and this body is having some attributes also, like size 4 KB, getting, priority high, something like that. So these are the attributes of this element. So body is an element and size and priority are attributes. Don't forget me this weekend is the text content. Reminder is a text content. Reminder. Sita is a text content. Ram is a text content. 2 is an element. Note is an element. Okay? and they all four are at the same level, so they are siblings because they are children of same parent. Okay, so yesterday document structure we have talked about it yesterday. So in this we will not spend more time, we'll just see how to load this XML file now. Okay, how to load it and then how to access each and every part of that XML file. Okay, so that is the next step. So just now I told you कि whenever you load that XML file in the memory, that entire document is one object. In our case, this whole document is going to be one object of class element tree, and then each and every element, okay, even root is also an element. So each and every element is an object of class element. Okay, and all these element objects are put into your elementary object, and elementary object will act like a iterable object. Okay, so how to process, that is the main discussion. So entire document is an object of elementary, and each element in the document is an object of element. I hope this point you are understanding, right? Please give me the confirmation accordingly. Ki when you are loading that XML file from the disk into memory, and then you are going to process it in your Python script. The Python script treats that entire document as one object of class elementary. And this elementary class is present in this elementary module. The module name is also elementary, and the name of the class is also elementary. So there is a class with name elementary in this module. Okay, so once that document is loaded, you'll get one single object. But in one document, there are many elements, isn't it? One is a root element, then many child element. Every child can have child, they can have text content, they can have attribute. So every element is a object of class element. Clear? Okay. Now the next step. So is this part first of all clear to you? Have you clarified it? That is differentiated. Okay, who is the elementary and who is an element object? And is your element tree going to act like a iterable object? Is it a collection object? And it is a iterable object of many element object. Can we say like that?
Yes, sir, we got it.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay. Right? Okay. Coming to the next step now. Now that thing you got it, ki the entire document is the object of this and each element is the object of this. But the main step is now to load it. So for that there is one function called parse in this module. Elementary module, there is one function called parse, and to that parse you give the name of your file, obviously XML file. Okay, so that parse function will read this XML file from the disk, load it in memory, and after it comes in memory, it is encapsulated in one object of class elementary. Elementary is a class also and a module also. Please remember, okay, there is a module with the name elementary. Means this is a .py file, and inside that py file there is a class with the name elementary. Okay? So there is a function called parse. To read the XML file using parse function. Parse is a function of this module. Okay, and what is the alias name of this module? Et. So we'll write et.parse, and to parse give the name of the XML file. That entire file is loaded in memory in the form of elementary object. So it will give you an object of class element tree. Okay, so returns an object of class elementary, and elementary class is present in elementary module. Okay, now in this program only I'll show you that. Okay, I'll give object name as tree. So tree et dot parse, and I'll give the file name. Now file name I am writing XML note.xml. Now as it is in the same folder in which your script is present, your xml1.py, this script is present, and in that folder only this is present. So there is no need to give that absolute path. Clear? This is a relative path. Now print and see the type of your tree object. It will display the class name, and it will give class name as xml.etree.elementary because it's an object of class elementary, but that class is present in this module. Okay, see, is it printing? XML is a package, this is a sub package, this is a module in that package, and inside this module there is a class with the same name, and this tree is actually an object of that. Getting? So tree is representing the document. Remember, tree is representing document, and in that document there are many which objects? Element object, and the important one is the root element. Okay, this is also going to, sorry, here only. This note is also one object of class element. This to is the object of element, from is the object of element, heading is the object of element. You understanding? So each and every element is the object of class element, in which one important one is the root element. Now how to get that root element? Okay, so for that also there are methods. Okay, see. So what I have done, I have given some another book.xml, which I showed you yesterday, I guess. Right? That XML file also will create, don't worry. Yesterday one XML file I showed you. Remember, in one XML file only I told you all the things like declaration, then the child siblings, then text content, attributes, isn't it? Quickly I'll just go to that file. See this one, and here only all the labelings I gave, who indicates what. Remember, no? Like these are attributes. This is also an attribute, lang equal to category. Then this thing 30.00 every data, this is a text content, and this one title till slash title, author is one element, book till slash book is one element, bookstore till slash is one element, but this is a special element called root element, declaration line. So all this yesterday I've told you. Okay, so we can process that too. Okay, so I have loaded which file from the disk? Book.xml, and that file when comes in memory, it is object of class elementary. This is that object tree. You print and see it is displaying. Okay, it's an object of class elementary, and object of class elementary is in module elementary. Okay, I hope you got it. So this object encapsulates the entire tree structure. Okay, now we want to get the root element, and from root element we can get its child element and so on. Then we can get their tag name, we can get their text content and so many things. Okay, so how to get the root element? So there is a method called get root. So get root is a method of element tree, and who is the object of elementary? Tree. Okay, so if I write tree dot get root, so it will return you the root element, which is again an object of class element. Okay, so elementary objects get root method returns root element of the document, and that is an object of element. But root is object of element, but the children are also object of element only. each and every element is the object of class element. And who is the element? Opening tag till close tag, inclusive everything. Whatever comes inside it is also part of that element. Okay? So can an element have an element? Yes. Can an element have a text content? Yes. Can an element have an attribute? Yes. Clear? See, so in this program only, if I write root equal to tree dot get root and print and see its type also, type root. Okay, now it will give, okay, it's an object of class element. Can you see? But this root is representing whom? This note. Clear? And all these child elements are part of it, and you can access them as if it's like a iterable object. You can treat this like a iterable object, and you can access all its child elements also. Okay, you can even treat it like a dictionary, and square bracket index you can give, and you can access each child element as well. How to do it? I'm coming to it. So till here I hope you got it. So root equal to tree dot get root and then print type of root. Okay? This will be object of class element, and element class is in module element tree. Remember, this is the module. Okay, that is, this is .py file, and in that .py file there is a class element tree and there is a class element. Okay? Okay, so till here I hope it is clear to you guys. Next is, you can even load your XML from an XML string. Like you have a XML but not in a file. You have XML in your memory only, in a string. XML document only but saved in a string. Okay, so you can load your XML from a string as well. Right? So for that also there is a provision. Okay, now how to do that I'll tell you. Only the difference is if you are reading your XML not from a file but from a string, like your XML document is in a string, and from string you are reading the XML document, that time you don't get a object of element tree, you get directly root element. You understanding? The difference is when you are loading the XML not from a file but from a string, and inside that string there is a XML, and you are loading that XML from a string, so you directly get a object of root element. You don't get a object of element tree. That is the difference. Okay, see, I'll show you that too. Okay, I'll create another XML. First line I'll copy as it is. So in that case you don't have to write get root. Why? Because it's already going to return you an object of element which is representing root element. Okay, see, this is your XML, but that XML is not in a file, it is in a string. See, sorry, this whole thing I'm storing it in a hard-coded string. I'm creating a multi-line string, and in that I'm storing. I hope you're understanding. Means my XML document is in a memory string. It is not in a file. Directly hard-coded string is there in my program, and in that XML document. I hope you know this from basic Python. 3 quotes indicate multi-line string. Okay, and now from this document you can convert it into an element object. So how to do it? Okay, so for that there is a method called from string. as we had method parse, but the difference of parse, concept of parse is it reads the file and gives you a object of element tree, and then that element tree objects get root will give you the root element. Here it will direct give you root element. Getting? I'll pass that XML string. ठीक है? तो from this XML string it will read this document and give you a root element. Check. If you check its type, you'll see it's a object of class, not elementary. It will be a object of class element. Getting? Direct root element it gives you. ठीक है? See. See, can you see this? It is giving you a object of class element, and this element is representing whom? The root element. ठीक है? I hope you got it. Okay, so is the difference clear to you guys? See, we'll go through this. So elementary modules from string function. From string is a function. It's not a method. It's not a method of any class. It is directly a function in your elementary module. Okay, so it is going to parse your XML not from a file but from a string. The function parses XML directly from the string, but when it parses XML from the string, it doesn't convert it into a object of elementary. It directly returns the root element of that document, which is in a string, and the root element object is of type element, so which is root element of your parse tree. Clear? See, import, do you know it? This is the string in which I have stored what? This is a complete string. This is a multi-line string. Now inside string, what is stored? Your XML document. So while parsing, I have given the string. I haven't given file name. Now those who are from BCS and all, those who have completed and those who have already done this whole parsing in PHP, I'm 100% sure they are relating it. Yes, we have done this in PHP and it is somewhat similar in Python. Only we are using Python libraries. There we were using PHP library. And those who haven't and they are going to learn, then also they'll do comparison in that language. Getting? Ultimately. So passing the string and you get a root element. That is the difference. Okay? So till here, if you have understood, please quickly give me the confirmation.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sure? Okay?
Yes, sir.
The basic idea you got it. Okay, you can load the XML document from a file also and from a string also. And I hope that is clear to you guys. Object of elementary and object of element. Okay? Now coming to the next thing. Now we get an object of element. So every element will have three things. Okay? One will be the tag name, that is the name of that element, name of the element, tag name. See, it is note, tag name is to, tag name is from, tag name is body. So one property of your every element object will be tag name. Second, the text content. Text content means that information which is between the opening tag till close tag. So the text content. And third, a dictionary of attributes, if there are. If the tag is having any attributes, so it will return you a dictionary of that attribute. The name of the attribute, see, like in this example, the name of the attribute will act as a key in that dictionary, and the value of the attribute will be value of that key. Means it will be a dictionary. Okay, and in that dictionary the size is a key and 4 KB is the value of that key, priority is the key, and high is the value of that key. And I hope you know what is a dictionary. Yes or no? Don't say you don't know. In basic Python, separately, there was a chapter for data structures in which we have studied dictionary data structure, isn't it? So in that we have discussed about dictionary. Okay, it's a collection of key value pair. So all your attribute name becomes the key and the value of the attribute becomes value of that key. Okay, so what all things every element object will give? So every element object will give you three attributes. One, by which we can access the element name. Second, we can access its text content. And third, we can access its attributes if there are. Okay, see, tag. Tag is the attribute of that element object. The string representing tag name. Now in this case, in my program, this program, take this or this program, doesn't matter. Okay, anyway, this also you can take. We'll just continue it in another program. Okay, and here if you just write print root.tag, so it will print the tag name of that element, but this is representing which element? The root element. So it will give you the tag name of root. You can check, which is note. See, is note getting printed? Note. Okay, then second is attrib. Now this attrib is going to be a dictionary containing all the attributes of that element. Clear? All the attributes. And I showed you the structure. The attribute name will act as a key and the attribute value will act as the value of that key. For example, suppose in my node.xml, for root also I have given some attributes. Like I have given date. Okay, date I have given whatever it is, 2021 or 23022021. Okay, some more, something more also I have given, like subject. Okay, right? So there are two attributes to that note, and you have this note element by default. Now you may have a question how to access this body element, heading element. We are coming to it, don't worry. The next thing we are going to discuss that too. Okay, how to get the child elements also. We have now root element. Okay, as I am having root element, I can print its tag name. Same way I can print all the attributes also of that element. Now currently root is representing root element, so obviously root's tag name and root's attribute, right? See, is it displaying a dictionary? In that dictionary, the attribute name is a key and the value, key and that value. Got it? Okay. Now this root doesn't have a text content. Does it have any text content? No. It is having child element. Child can have further child or it can have a text content. How to access them? I'll tell you. And the third thing is text. Now this text will give you the text content, which is between that opening tag and close tag. Like suppose I get reference to this 2. Okay, if I get reference to this 2 and then I write dot text, so I'll get this Ram. Okay, you got it. Now they have given provision to treat this root like a list, and all the children are part of that list. Means you can write root of 0. So root of 0 will give you its 0th child. You understanding? Root of 0. So root of 0 is also what? A object of class element only. But it will be this element. See, if you want, I'll show you. root of 0 dot tag. See, print root of 0 dot text. Okay, root of 0 dot text. Print and see, is it printing 2 and ram? Because root elements 0th element, root is a element, but inside root element there are many other child elements. So root of 0 actually represents whom? 2, which is also an element of J. Means again, if you want to print the type of root of 0, you'll come to know. Print type of root of 0. It is again an object of class element. Root itself is an object of class element, but root of 0 is also an object of class element. That is a surprising thing. See, is it also object of class element? Yes. And as it's a object of root of 0 is also object of element, it will also have three things: tag, text, and attrib. Now, if I write root of 0 dot text dot attrib, it's not having any attribute. Does it have? No. But 1 is from, 2 is heading, and 3 is body. So suppose in this program, now I'm writing print root of 3 dot attrib. Getting? So it will give the attrib of the third child of root. Third child of root. See carefully again. See. Third child's attrib. And third child is who? This one. 0th child, first child, second child, third. But that third child is also object, remember, of class element. And its attribute, these two things. I hope you are now getting it clear with it. Right? Suppose print root of 3 dot tag, if I write, and print root of 3 dot text I am writing. So it will give the text content, that is, please don't forget me this weekend. Tag is, that is the body tag, no? Okay, and attributes are these three things. See, do you get like that? Text is, don't forget me this weekend. Tag name is body, and attributes are that two attribute. Now some may have question that if the child, this root is a parent, root of 0 means 0th child, but if the child is also further having children, clear? Like she has sent this message, okay, to many people, okay, as it's a reminder for birthday or something. So Sita has sent the message to, the name is first child, okay, again name, the text content is Ram, and name is the child of 2, then Ram Lakshmi. ठीक है, बर तो these three are again further child of 2, and 2 is the child of note. So how to access 2? Root of 0, but 0 is also having further, so root of 0 of 0, root of 0 of 1, root of 0 of 2. This way you can access them too. How recursively they have designed, just imagine. And this, for this you have to recall all the concepts of data structures. You have studied data structures also somewhere in your academics, right or no? Linear data structure, non-linear data structure. So non-linear like tree, graph. So this come under tree, how it is internally implemented, just imagine. So here if I write print root of 0 dot, now here I wrote root of 0 dot tag, right? So that will get printed, but root of 0 dot text won't get, because there is no text, right? But if I write root of 0 dot tag, or print root of 0 of 1 dot text, so that is also possible. Okay, this is also 100% valid. See, is it printing the tag name? Root of 0's tag is name. Root of 0 of 1 is text. One's text is Lakshman. So in general, I hope you got it. कि everyone is a object of class element. See, these three are objects of class 1, 2, 3. They are objects of class element, and they are part of one more object which is also object of class element. This is also object of class element, and it is a collection of element. And this is also object of class element, which is collection of again elements. So recursively they have made. Generalize. Getting? So hope it is clear to you. कि everyone is a object of class element. ठीक है? Okay. So coming to this place, root dot tag if I write, and if I take that bookstore example, now this I gave you demonstration with the reference of note, but we'll create that file as well. That XML file also I'll create for you people. Book.xml. We'll just copy it from our slides. That spaces have come, NBSB. It is in the HTML form. Actually, if I leave it as it is, it won't make difference. Because it is just an HTML entity representing space. Okay. Actually, it will parse it if I keep it as it is. It won't make any difference. If I leave it as it is, still it will parse because these are just HTML entities. ठीक है, तो this book is your root element, then bookstore, then book is the child element of that, then title is also further child element, author, year, price, then one book information over. Category is again an attribute, right? Then title is a child element, title, author, year, price, they are sibling, therefore child element of book. Book is a child element of bookstore. Getting? This way it will go on. ठीक है? Again, one more book information. And finally, this is last book. ठीक है, तो we have this sample file now with us. Okay, and then we can parse this, which I have already showed you a lot of things here only. Okay, you'll get root tree dot get root, and then you can try this all operations. That is, you can print the tag, you can print its attribute. If attributes are not there, obviously it's going to print empty dictionary. So root dot tag. So what is the tag name of the root in this example? Sorry, here I didn't change it. Note, instead of note I'll make it book. Okay, and if I write print root dot attrib, so as there are no attributes for the root element, it will print empty dictionary. What is the tag name of your root? Bookstore. Is it clear? See, it is bookstore. If I run this, you can see the output accordingly. See, is it displaying bookstore and empty string? Sorry, empty dictionary. Got it. Okay. Then many more things I told you already. That bookstore is an object of element, but it will also have a child element, and that child element, okay, all the child element are also again what? Object of class element. Getting? No? These are also going to act as object of class. See, bookstore will take. This bookstore is the object of element, but this book, and this book, they are also again what? Object of class element. Clear? So one book, second book, third, they all are object of element, and these all elements are in this element. So as this element is containing all these elements, it will act like a iterable object. And if it is a iterable object, you can traverse it in a for loop. Okay, so see, every element object also acts like a iterable object. Why? Because inside element object there can be further child element. So all that child element are also objects of element, and they are in its parent element. So the parent will act like a what? Iterable object containing all its child element. And if it's a iterable object, you know in Python you can use a for loop on it. So if I apply here for loop, see, for child in root. Okay, so that actually root is a object of can anyone tell me?
element class.
Element class. Your entire document is an object of element tree. That is this tree. And then tree dot get root will give you the root element. Okay, but as this root is an object of element, is it also further containing many elements, all the child element? These all, see, one child, second child, third child, fourth child, and fifth child. So five children are there to this bookstore. So are they also themselves object of element? So five elements in this element. So this element will also act like a iterable object. So can I use a for loop? So when you're using this for loop and fetching one by one from it, so that one by one what you are going to get is also again what? A object of element. Getting? And as it's a object of element, you can access its tag name, you can access its text content, you can access its attributes also. I guess it is having attribute. See, category equal to children. So text content is not there, so we won't print text content. We'll print tag and we'll print attrib of it. Okay. Now tag is obviously going to be same. You can run this XML4. See, is the name of the tag for all same? Book, book, book only. Why? Because they are the child element of root. Yes or no? They are child element of the root, and all child element are having same tag name, that is book, 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 book. And these are the attributes. So at how many attributes are there? Only one, category and the name of value of that category. Suppose I would have written this way: for child in root of 0. Can anyone tell me? And then I'm writing for child in root of 0. Root itself is a element. Root of 0 means this thing, which is also a element. Right? So is this 0th element also a iterable object containing 4 further element? Getting? So when I've used a for loop like this, will it give the child element of root of 0 element? So root of 0 means this book and its child means this 4. You understanding? Clear? And now here also, if I write print child dot tag, and here I am writing child dot for example text. Why? Because all child are not having attribute. No, in this case, see, only title is having attribute, remaining they are having only text content. Getting? So in this case, in this for loop, will it access all the child element of 0th element of your root, means 0th book? Yes. So seeing this book.xml, will it print this thing? Title, everyday Italian, author, this Gita, then year 2005, price 30.00. Will that get displayed? Yes or no? See this remaining part: title, author, year, price. Here if I just make a change, root of 1 if I write, so it will give all the child element of 1th element of root. So who is the 1th element of root? This book and its 4 children. Again, see, it is printing other 4 thing. Yes or no? Is it convinced to you people? So
Yes,
you can
sir.
access that way.
Yes, sir.
Okay? See.
Yes, sir.
Now in this case I am printing only what? Here it is getting printed ISBN number I have added. No. Here it was not there. No? You can add it if you want, of each book. You can put any ISBN number, which is actually a 12-digit number, I guess. Right? So this way you can add ISBN number to each book. Okay. And now if I run this script, so here it will print the tag and the attribute. So what is the tag of each child? Book only, and their attributes are these two. Correct? See, we run it. Can you see this? Tag is book and these two are the attributes. Tag is book and these two are the attributes. And attribute value. Get it? That concept is clear to you, I hope. And is it clear to you that each and every one is an object of class element? Okay, it's like a tree structure. I'll show you in graphical way. If I draw a tree, so every node in the tree is an object of class node. Is it right? I'm drawing a tree. This is, suppose, the root of the tree. These are the children. Getting? Now, first child, second child, third child. They also have children. Okay? First child, second child, third child. Now these children are having some set of attributes also. They have some text content also. Okay? Now tell me, this one is an object of element. This is also object of element. This is also object of element. Each and every node in the tree is an object of element. And this entire tree structure is an object of element tree. Getting? So now these three are object of element, but they are present in this element. So you can say this element also acts like a iterable. It acts like a collection of element. Means element acts like a collection of element. Element acts like a collection of element. So you can treat it like a iterable object as well. Okay? So children are nested and we can access specific child nodes by index. In this tree only I'll show you. Like suppose this is A, this is root, and B, C and D. They are three. And then again here X, Y, Z. So can I say that this is one list? That list contains three elements, and that each element can be further list. Means can we say it's a list, and list further can contain list, and inside list also there can be list or directly a element. So if it's a element, it's a leaf level. Can it be? This whole list represents what? The main thing. In that there are many lists. That list can contain further. Clear? And every list is a iterable. Same concept is happening here. So how to access them? So if I write 0th, you will get this list. 1th, I'll get this list. Inside that also, if there are again, so 0 of 0, 0 of 1, that way you can write. Okay? So children are nested and we can access specific child by index also. See, if I write root of 0 dot attrib, so it will give you the attribute of 0th child of root. Root of 0 of 1 if I write dot text, so it will give text of 1th child of 0th child of root. Means root's 0th child's 1th child. Correct? So that way you can access. And this thing just now, I hope I told you in the previous example also. In this example I showed you, I guess, in this one. See here how to access them. Isn't it? So in case of book document also, example, if I write here, I've shown you also even root of 1, so it will give you all the child element of 1th element and 1th child of root element. Example, you tell me now, if I write root of 1 of 0 dot text, or print root of 1 of 0 dot tag. Getting? So 1th of 0 means 1th is this one, of 0 means title, and its tag means title, and its text means Harry Potter. And if attrib, if I write, so it will give attribute of it, 1th child, 0th child, 1th child, 0th child's attribute. So will it print Harry Potter, then dictionary Langian, tag as title? ठीक है? See, is it printing Harry Potter, title, Langian? You got it, how to access it. Can this be extended further? Can there be third square bracket also? It may happen. Root elements, child elements, child, its child. So can we have third square also going on? So internally they have implemented it as a generalized linked list, GLL. List can contain list, list can contain list, and going on. ठीक है? So till here I hope you got it, right? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, few more things.
Yes, sir.
Some more things are there, like how to make changes in your document, then how to create a complete new document. Many things are there. I'll tell you all that. Okay. Now there's one method called iter. Okay. So it is equivalent to iterator. So it's a method of element object, and give the tag name. It will return you all the children of that element who is invoking it. Whichever element is invoking it, it will return all the child element. Okay, all means its list it will return with the given tag name. So whatever tag name you have given, it will return all the elements with that tag name. Okay, see, element objects iter bracket tag name method returns all the elements with the given tag name, which are children, its children, and so on. The entire tree it will access. Means it will not only check it as a first child of this element. Okay, see, now suppose this A is representing X. Okay, and dot I wrote iter. Okay, now X is representing whom? This root element, and then the tag name I have given B, suppose. But B tag name is present as first child, and here also there is a tag name with B. Can happen, there is nothing wrong. That tag names can be repeated. Okay, or further, suppose Y is again having 3 children, and there are again 2 children with the same name B. Okay, so when I wrote X dot iter B, it will return all the elements collection, means list, with this tag name. But this tag name it will not search only as a first child of that X, because this is X object, this root who is representing X. So X dot B, so not only the first children also it will search with name B, its children also it will search with name B. So in our case now we are going to get 4 a list of 4 elements. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, all will come in that list. Getting? And as they have come in the list, you can traverse them using a for loop. You know it. Okay? So that's what I have mentioned. Returns all the elements with given tag name. I guess from the diagram it is very clear, right? I wrote x dot iter and the tag name b. So it has searched all the elements with the tag name b as immediate children, children's children, its children, and going on. Okay? With the tag name which are children, its children, and so on. Right? So example I have written root dot iter title. Root dot iter title. So root elements, children, children's children, and so on. In that entire structure, it will search all the elements with the name title, and it will return all that elements. And as it's going to be a list of elements, you can use a for loop to access them one by one. And after accessing one by one, you can access their attributes, their text, their tag name, everything. You understanding? Here in this case, we are accessing all the elements with the tag name title. Okay? So in our example, the example which I have given, book. So say this book, root is representing whom? We have a root object which is also an element object. This is representing bookstore. And I wrote root dot iter title. So it will search title as a child of bookstore, child's child also. So in the entire tree it is searching a tag with the name title. And then we are printing its attribute and the text content. Getting? Attribute and the text content. Suppose in this program only I am writing like this for, or I'll create another program not to mess with this program. XML4 is already there. XML5 I'll create. Till here it is same. In the for loop, I'll write for child in root dot iter, and I'll give the name of it as title, and print child dot attrib suppose, and child dot text suppose. I'm printing that title. Actually I am accessing all the elements with the tag name title. So tag name I already know, so why to print tag name? So we'll print that element's attribute and that element's text content. Getting? So will it print this everyday Italian, Harry Potter, the Jungle Book, and this attributes? Okay. See, is it printing? Attribute text content, attribute text content of title. Now same way if you want to access some other, you can, like suppose you want to print all the author, title, author, year, price. Okay, all four you want to print in one tabular form only. You can, but what will happen? It will return 4 lists. So you have to zip it. I guess I've told you about zip in basic Python, but sure, forgot, isn't it? In case of list, I have told you. When I told different methods of list, so during that time I told you all, any, then enumerate. That time I am sure I've told you about zip. 100% I have told you, but doubt you remember it. So that way you can zip this all 4 iterators and then access and print them. That way you can do it. I can show you that technique also. Here you'll get 4. See. Okay. I'll write another program. See. You can write like this. Child 1. Child 2, child 3, and child 4. Isn't it? these are the 4 children which are going to come from that one tuple, because who is going to zip that? Here, zip bracket, and first iterable is title, second iterable author, year, price. I'll write, see, root dot iter, title, author, year, iter only, price. ठीक है? Actually what is going to happen, they all are going to return their own iterables. And 4 different collections will come. See, I'll give you some other demonstration like this. One collection will come, 1 2 3 4 suppose. Another collection will come, ठीक है, 7 8 9 2 suppose. This way, one more collection will come, and one more collection. Like this, 4 collections have come. Make 4 iterables, and that all 4 you have passed to zip. ठीक है? So what zip will do is, will take one value each from all and create a tuple and give you. I remember it, I've told you. It will create one tuple like this, 1 7 8 7, one tuple. And that one tuple, when it is fetched in a for loop, it gets unpacked in this 4 children. Okay? And then that 4 children's text you can print down. See, child 1 text, child 2 text, child 3 text, and child 4 text. Okay? Concept of unpacking also you got it. So zip is going to return one list of such tuples, and then in a for loop you are fetching one tuple at a time, and then that one tuple is getting unpacked in this 4 children, and then we are printing their text content. Okay? See, is it printing text content? That is its title. First child will be the title, then the author, then the year, and then the price. Yes or no? Here, if you want, you can give separator as tab, suppose, or you can do some other formatting. Now, tab doesn't work because some content is too big. Getting, no? So you can do formatting in some other way. See, I'll tell you like this. So I hope you are remembering the entire basic Python. 20s suppose I'm writing. Percentage 20s. Then percentage 20s only if I write. Then percentage year. No? So I'll create 4D. And then percentage dot 2f and percent, that is a floating value, and then this whole tuple will get substituted there, first here, then second, this way. Okay. It is telling the number is required, not string. Acha, but they all are in string. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll keep everything in string only. Percentage 10s I'll write. Here also percentage 10s. Though for us it looks like a number, but it is actually coming in the form of string. Can you see? Now this is still not less. You need some more. Now it is more proper. Can you see? It is properly coming in formatted way. 1 2 3 4.